James Gunn finally made an announcement. There are 10 properties on the slate for DC movies and TV. What are they? What is their importance? Where are they headed? We have a very special episode coming up on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hey there, comic book community. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Follow us on the other socials, Instagram, Bronzeville_comics, same thing on Whatnot. There's a link in the description. If you're not yet on Whatnot, you can use that link to sign up. And if you do, you get $10 off your first purchase, regardless of who it's with. Also, in the description are links to my eBay store, my email, and the website for King Con 4, which is a show I'll be selling at March 25th and 26th, the two-day show in Island, New Jersey. Come out, join the comic book community. Plenty of people going to be out there, but I want to cut right to the chase and start talking about DC TV and movies. And James Gunn said by the end of January he'd be making an announcement. He waited until January 31st and now has made an announcement of the slate of properties they're developing into movies and TV shows from DC properties. Now, this really doesn't kick off until at least the first theatrical film, the one that has been given a date, is not until July of 2025. So almost 2.5 years from now. They did originally say that this was going to be a 10-year plan. Now, it makes sense if you're starting in 2025 that a 10-year plan would conclude in 2035, which would be the 100th anniversary of DC Comics and the 50th anniversary of Crisis on Infinite Earths. There are still 4 movies coming out in the calendar year 2023: Shazam! Fury of the Gods, Flash, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So we don't know exactly if or how those properties will connect to what Gunn is developing as this kind of new DC universe, which he's entitling these shows under the moniker Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. Now, what gods are involved remains to be seen. What monsters? There are a few, starting with the beginning and ending also including the last entry on this list. So let's kind of break it down, and we'll talk about the way we anticipate these properties will be released. One that's already being worked on is an animated series, a 7-episode HBO Max animated series. Animated doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be for kids. It's going to be Creature Commandos. Was anybody expecting Creature Commandos? I was not. The Creature Commandos made their first appearance in Weird War Tales number 93, which was about a group of monsters, right? A Frankenstein monster and a Gorgon and a werewolf and some other characters. I really wasn't a big Creature Commandos collector, who fought the Nazis during World War II. Well, they're not going to be fighting the Nazis, but they're going to put together a similar team. Supposedly Weasel from Suicide Squad will be one of the members. Weasel, the motion capture and the voice is done by Sean Gunn, James's brother, and he's going to be one of the members. We don't know exactly who the other members are. Weasel made his first appearance in Fury of Firestorm number 34, a book you can probably still find in dollar bins, to be honest. And it seems as though my best guess is that Creature Commandos will be kind of an offshoot of the Suicide Squad. And Gunn has indicated that the actors who do the voice roles will also be able to portray the characters in live action. So there will be some synergy between this animated series and what's coming up. I guess animated series, Gunn is writing it. It's already in production. So we could see that sooner than 2025. And if you're going to keep an eye out on anything, Creature Commandos, that Weird War Tales first appearance is a hard book to find. There are only, I think, 52 copies on the CGC census and just 9 of them in a 9.8, because this was not a book anybody was speculating on. The second property that we believe we'll see is a HBO Max series entitled Waller, about Amanda Waller, played by the Oscar and Emmy-winning actress Viola Davis, who has portrayed the character in a couple Suicide Squad movies, and the Peacemaker TV show, and most recently in the Black Adam movie. So this is obviously a character that will carry over from the previous incarnation of DC movies, what was called the DC Extended Universe. The new title of the overarching movies and TV shows is going to be called the DC Universe. So obviously for Amanda Waller to work, we're going to need to see her interacting with some form of Task Force X / the Suicide Squad. So I think there'll be a lot of characters introduced there. So still plenty of characters whose first appearances are buried in back issue bins that nobody is speculating on, because James Gunn is, I'm sure, going to pick out some pretty obscure characters for any future iterations of Suicide Squad. I think this has a lot of promise. Amanda Waller's first appearance in Legends #1 is really undervalued. Legends #1 was the second big DC crossover event after Crisis on Infinite Earths, so it was heavily printed. There are plenty of copies out there, but still, this is a first appearance of a character that is going to be the thread that weaves through a lot of these properties going forward, and who is portrayed by one of the best actresses working today. The first theatrical release, which is coming out on July 11th, 2025, is Superman Legacy. It will not star Henry Cavill. They were going to recast the role with a younger actor, and this will portray a younger Superman. It's not going to be an origin story. It's going to be Superman's already going to be established, and he's going to be kind of conflicted between his Kryptonian heritage and his being raised on Earth. We'll come back to that idea in another property a little bit later on. And it sounds as though Gunn is looking for a more hopeful Superman in this. We don't know who the antagonist is going to be. If you can pick up Superman's first appearance at the right price, go ahead. If you have, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to spend on Action Comics #1. There's going to be an HBO Max miniseries entitled Lanterns. And sometimes the titles of these properties is a little interesting. Not Green Lanterns, not Green Lantern, but Lanterns, which may indicate that the other colored lanterns, yellow, orange, red, blue, indigo, violet, etc., could be included in the storyline. Now, even though it's Green Lantern, who is partially a space-based character, it's going to revolve around both Hal Jordan and John Stewart. And it's going to be kind of a terrestrial detective story. So we don't know exactly what they're going to be trying to find out. But if the Lanterns are based on Earth, that's kind of interesting. Again, could we have other characters involved? And Hal Jordan, his first appearance in Showcase 22 is an early Silver Age Grail, a very expensive book. John Stewart, early Bronze. His first appearance in Green Lantern 87 is also a pretty expensive book that if you want a mid-grade, you're going to have to spend a few $100s. The next property caught me by surprise because this was not something I collected. It's The Authority, which was originally under the Wildstorm imprint, which was Jim Lee's imprint in the late 1990s. And eventually those imprints became part of DC, and much like the Fawcett characters, the Quality characters, or the Charlton characters were incorporated into the main DC continuity. The biggest key among Authority books is Stormwatch 4, which is the first appearance of Apollo and Midnighter. Again, I'm sorry, but I don't know much about the Authority. I'm going to have to, I guess, read up on some of it. So it's kind of a superhero team that in which the ends justifies the means, and could be a counterpoint to Superman's perspective on how to protect the planet. Possibly this was inspired by the success of The Boys, but we'll see about the Authority. I don't know exactly. I don't have enough information on the Authority. Of all DC properties, that is not one I'm particularly well versed in. Paradise Lost. And again, notice the title. This is going to be a Wonder Woman related series, which is going to be set on Themyscira before the events of Wonder Woman. So it could follow a younger Hippolyta, A lot of people are thinking that the character of Nubia, who made her first appearance in Wonder Woman 204 in 1973, is going to be prominently featured. She has had her own comic book recently, so DC has been propping that character up. We're also looking at other Wonder Woman related characters like Wonder Girl Yara Flor, maybe Donna Troy. Who knows? So that is interesting. They called it a Game of Thrones style political intrigue on an island made up entirely of women. Up next, again, the title's interesting. It's going to be a Batman property, Brave and the Bold. Now, the Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves version of Batman is going to be its own separate thing, and I think that next movie, the sequel to that, is coming out in 2025. There's a Penguin HBO Max series coming out later this year. That's going to be completely separate. It's going to be somebody else playing Batman, and this is going to revolve around Batman and Robin, the Damian Wayne version, the 10-year-old son of Batman, who Batman did not know existed until he was 8 years old. The son of Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Talia al Ghul, who is the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. Both Talia and Raj had their first appearances in the early Silver Age in Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams books that are quite sought after and have always been keys. Talia in Detective Comics 411 and Ra's al Ghul in Batman 232, both from 1971. Damian Wayne made his first appearance as a baby in a graphic novel, Batman Son of the Demon, which was for many years not considered part of DC continuity, but later on folded into the main continuity as Damian Wayne was brought in. His first cameo appearance is in Batman 655 and his first full appearance in Batman 656. He was raised by the League of Assassins to become a killer, so there's that counterpoint between, this child of Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul, two villains, and Batman a hero, and him trying to fill the Robin mantle. Now, it doesn't really explain where Dick Grayson or even Jason Todd and Tim Drake fit into this storyline. To be honest, Dick Grayson hasn't really been figured out yet in live action. I still say the best live action version of Dick Grayson was portrayed by Burt Ward in the 1960s. The only other time we saw him was in, Batman and Robin, and we have seen a version as Nightwing on the Titans TV series. But The Brave and the Bold is an interesting choice of title, and I guess they didn't want to call it Batman and confuse it with the Pattinson Reeves stuff. But Brave and the Bold was a title that ran for 200 issues originally. It was originally an anthology title which debuted in the 1950s with characters like the Viking Prince, the Silent Knight, and Robin Hood. Eventually, it became like Showcase, a tryout book for during the Silver Age for DC heroes and teams. It was the first appearance of Hawkman, first appearance of Justice League of America, Metamorpho, Teen Titans. Then it became a team-up book, and eventually Batman became the lead feature in that team-up book by the late 1960s, and it ran all the way into the early 1980s when it was replaced by Batman and the Outsiders. So it was always Batman teaming up with some other character. This is going to be a feature film, so I don't know how they're going to have other characters involved. And the best the general public knows about the branding of The Brave and the Bold is through the animated series that came out maybe about 10 years ago that was more or less an homage to the Silver Age. So interesting to see how the tone's set up and also who will be the antagonist in this. Obviously, you have to establish Ra's al Ghul and Talia al Ghul as part of it. Also, the League of Assassins will have trained Robin. How much of that is preamble to the story of Batman finding that Robin exists and training him, or finding that Damian exists and training him to be Robin, that remains to be seen. Another property that nobody really is surprised by, considering that Gunn was put in charge, is Booster Gold, who made his first appearance in Booster Gold #1. It's a 1980s hero, and it's the story of a football player in the future who had to throw games for money, was disgraced, and was wanted by, I think, both the police and the gamblers, stole a time machine from a science museum and traveled into present day and passed himself off as a superhero in an attempt to make money. He's often been teamed up with Blue Beetle, the Ted Kord version. We are seeing the Jaime Reyes version in the movie coming out later this year, and Ted Kord's sister has confirmed to be a character in the movie. We don't know how he will fit in. But at some point, I think they're going to have to put Booster and Blue Beetle together. And a lot of what Booster does is play off other heroes because he's kind of trying to prove himself and figure out, if he is really a hero or if he's just kind of impersonating a hero. So I'm sure that'll be told with a more comedic perspective. And then after that, we have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, based on a recent Tom King run, which juxtaposes how Superman was raised by parents on Earth in the heart of America versus how Supergirl was raised in Argo City, an isolated piece of Krypton floating in space until she finally got sent to Earth as a teenager, and how the two upbringings differ between the two cousins. I don't know if the Supergirl we're going to see in the Flash movie will be the Supergirl we're going to see going forward. Again, a lot of details yet to be filled in. Evidently, Tom King was in the writer's room when Gunn and Safran and others were developing this blueprint for Chapter 1. And so it'd be interesting to see if some of Tom King's other runs are going to be used. And then the final thing that was announced is Swamp Thing, who made his first appearance in House of Secrets 92, had his first ongoing series starting in 1973, or 1972, I should say, and is connected to much of the supernatural and horror elements of the DC universe. John Constantine made his first appearance in the Swamp Thing book, and Swamp Thing has been a member of Justice League Dark, so it opens up that door to all of those characters, the Phantom Strangers, Zatanna, the Demon, Deadman, Detective Chimp, Black Orchid, and John Constantine, all these other interesting supernatural characters, and can go into the horror element. Now, Swamp Thing's been in 4 properties in live action already. A pretty decent movie by Wes Craven in the early 80s, an absolutely terrible movie in the late 80s, an even worse syndicated TV series right after that, and a pretty good TV series that premiered on DC Universe a few years ago that it was shortened, it only ran 1 season. I think a lot of people are looking forward to Swamp Thing. He has been a fan favorite character and opens up a different element of the DC Universe. So that's what we have. Notice, no mention of Lobo. There's been so much ballyhoo. He's been in the top 10 lists all over the place for the past 2 months. Reading the tea leaves, it seems as though everything but a confirmation that Jason Momoa is going to portray Lobo, but no actual confirmation. Now, it could be that DC wants to make sure they don't confuse things between Momoa playing Lobo and he's currently playing Aquaman, and they have a movie coming out this year that they want to sell tickets for. And rather than Momoa having to talk about Lobo, he can talk about Aquaman. Sure, we'll have to talk about Lobo as well leading up to that movie. But we'll see. So many details to be filled in. Nobody's really been cast. I mean, other than, I guess Sean Gunn as Weasel and Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Right? That's the only casting we really have. No directors attached. There are some writers attached, and some of their work makes this look very promising. So let me know what you think. What are you most looking forward to? Leave that in the comments below. And also, what do you want to see in addition? There are so many characters. I mean, I could go on all day about characters that we haven't seen. I haven't seen the Justice Society. Haven't seen Power Girl, Firestorm. The entirety of the Justice League Dark, the Legion of Superheroes. I mean, I could sit here all day and talk about characters. The New Gods. This is Gods and Monsters are the New Gods. Who's going to be the main antagonist through this storyline? We don't know. How are all the pieces going to be woven together? So many details. That's what makes this fun to look forward to give comic collecting another dimension to it by seeing what's going to happen in the movies, which brings the characters as comic book readers that we know and love to a wider audience. And so then when you're at work, much like with Marvel movies, you say, oh, geez, how do you like Star-Lord? If you said, how do you like Star-Lord 10 years ago, they'd have been, who? You know, it'd been like Jaimin Hanshu going, who? Exactly. You know, if you say, hey, you know, how do you like Booster Gold? Nobody's going to know what you're talking about. But in a few years from now, when a TV series or a movie comes out, they're going to be, oh yeah, I watched that show. That was pretty cool. So that's, I think, part of what makes this fun. It gives us, you know, things to look for, things to think about what might come next. I'm looking forward to this. Again, I'm a DC guy. I'm really excited by all this. You know, it gives me stories that I have yet to read, stories I have to revisit. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, not all these things. I don't have original Creature Commandos books. I didn't collect the Authority. You know, but I'm pretty sure I have every appearance of Amanda Waller. You know, I didn't actually get Booster Gold when it first came out. But I've been collecting that series on the low recently. I guess I'm going to have to finish that at some point, which is now going to be a little more difficult, although I do have a couple of copies of #1. So, again, let me know what you think in the comments. What are you most looking forward to? What would you also like to see? In the meantime, you can take a look at a couple of my other recent videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.